Happy Tuesday slash Wednesday class. I hope you had a great long weekend. If you are virtual on Tuesday, watch this video, do the assignments, but definitely study for that test for tomorrow. All right. If you are doing it Wednesday, I hope you enjoyed our little mock trial yesterday. I know sometimes those can be corny, but I hope you had a little fun. So today we are talking about the difference between crimes and courts. So we just spent the last couple of weeks going over crimes. Now we're going to learn about torts. I thought torts honestly were a food until just a few weeks ago. All right. So a tort is not a food. Maybe it is, I don't know, but it's also a private or civil wrong. So it's offense against an individual, where a crime is an offense against society. So in a tort, you can sue for damages. Usually, it results in money to the injured party. Um, an act can be both a crime and a tort. So you can kind of think of the old O.J. Simpson trial as that, as he was not convicted of the crime, but he was convicted of the tort. Another classic tort example would be the woman who sued McDonald's after getting burns. And actually, later today, one of your assignments is going to be a case study on that. So you'll dive more into that here soon. Let me move my video down here. There we go. So there's a thing called master servant rule. All right. So the master, which is the employer is liable for the conduct of the servant, so his employees. So if you do something wrong at your job, technically your employer could be held liable. You will too, but your employer will also. So elements of a tort. So a tort law is very broad. All right. So it's hard to really get convicted of this. Um, Torts must have four elements to establish liability. So we'll go over those in a minute, but they involve duty, breach of duty, injury, and causation. So what are those, Mr. Moore? Well, let me tell you. So first is duty. All right. So we kind of went over in criminal law. We all have the duty to know the laws. We all have the duty to respect each other. And that's exactly what it is in tort law. So you have the duty to respect the rights of others. Duty involves injury, physical injuries to their property, their reputation, or invasion of their privacy. Uh, Duty does not interfere with property rights. Duty does not interfere with economic rights. So basically, you can't trespass, no conversion, economic rights. When you get involved in someone else's contracts or contractual relationships, you're violating their duty or you're violating your duty. An example of this would be like if a family member wanted to sell an apartment and one of the members sabotaged the sale. So the other family members could technically sue the one family member for violation of their duty. Violation of duty. Move myself down here now. When a person or company has a duty of care towards others but fail to live up to those standards. So an example would be like a parent. So I have a duty to provide responsible medical care to my kids. If I don't do that duty, I am in violation of that. You look at the doctorate of res Ispellator. I had to look that up. It's Latin for things speak for itself. So it allows the court to presume, without showing proof, a violation of duty as the accident could not have occurred without it. So an example of this would be like, say you're walking down the street and a piano falls on you and you get crushed. All right. The people who had the piano up on the building would be liable for your injuries. Some definitions to know here. Intentional tort is something where you actually intend to harm. Negligence results of the neglect or careless act of the defendant. And then there's strict liability, which is a person acted in a certain extremely hazardous way. For strict liability, there's really no intent, there's no carelessness. Something would be like if you were walking your dog down the street and he somehow broke loose from you and bit another, that would be strict liability. The third one is injury, which is fairly self explanatory. All right. Um, you must have an injury. No injury, no tort. And then causation. This is the breach of duty caused the injury. So, proximate cause is when it is reasonably foreseeable that a breach of duty will result in an injury. And then we look at who's liable. So, all persons are personally held liable for their conduct. There are a few exceptions. This includes children and the insane. And one thing that we talked about just a few minutes ago, respondent superior. So this is employer is held liable for their employee. Um, and this goes a little bit farther. So employer, employee, principal, agent, and then even parents are liable for their child. So if my child goes and attacks another kid, who's going to be liable for that? We are. So that is it for today. Fill out those 5-1 reteach assignments. And now my daughter Violet has a special announcement for you. Violet?
Everyone turn those notifications on and subscribe to my daddy.
There you go. They're hooked to YouTube, so I'm trying to get those subscribers. Like the video, subscribe, and if you have any questions, shoot me a remind message, send me an email, and I will get those answered. If not, I will see you tomorrow in class.